Hi, y'all. It's that time again. It's Math with Mrs. Peters, the crazy cat lady of Hiram High School. Today's topic, we're going to talk about something called function notation. Listen to my southern accent. It's function notation. But first, we're going to evaluate some expressions. And what we're going to do is we are going to evaluate y equals 3x plus 9. We're going to find the value of y when I've only given you the value of x. So we're going to do it just like we did before. I'm going to take this little guy right here and I am going to clone him and bring him down. And I'm going to put him over here. Right? Actually, I think I want to take all of them. I'm going to clone the whole thing. I'm going to group it and I'm going to clone them. And I'm going to get rid of this guy. Put him here. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to put him here because I'm going to do it twice. All right. Now, just like when we were doing evaluating expressions the other day, we are going to put in these itty bitty teeny tiny set of parentheses around my x. And I'm going to take my itty bitty teeny tiny little eraser and I'm going to go in and I'm going to erase the x. And then I'm going to put in my little teeny tiny 10. Okay. Now we can evaluate this. We can say that 3 times 10 plus 9, which is 39, then my y is equal to 39. So we're going to do that again if x was negative 2. Put in my parentheses, get out my handy-duty, ever-popular little tiny eraser, because you know I like my little tiny eraser. I'm going to erase that little x right there. I'm going to put in my negative 2. I'm going to calculate, and I'm going to say, oh, gee, guess what? This is equal to 3. So when x is 10, y is 39. Or when x is negative 2, my y is 3. And we're going to do something a little bit later on with what this means, but we're just going to do some evaluating. Now we're going to talk about something called function notation. Function notation. It's a fancy way of saying why. Why. Function notation usually looks like this. Okay? It says I have a function. We're going to talk about what it means to be a function later on. Just know that when it says f right there, it says I have a function. Or if it says g, it says I have a function named g. Oh, gee, oh my, you know. But the nice part about it is what's inside the parentheses tells me what my variable is. So if I had something like g of x is equal to 5ax plus 2x squared, I would know that a is really some sort of constant that everybody knows, like pi, or the letter e, which is really a number, but nobody wants to write all those digits out. Okay, and x is the variable, right? That's what function notation tells me. It tells me that my variable, no matter what other letters show up, my variable is x. And this part right here, that is read g of x. That is how it is read. So let's look at some examples. Let's do a couple of problems and see what it's asking of me. So if I had f of x equals 3x plus 9, I think we just looked at this one, and I wanted to know what f of x, or y, is equal to. Remember now, f of x is just a fancy way of saying y. Okay. And I said, I want to know what y is equal to when x is 10. I could say that really, really easy by saying this. All of this right here says, what is y when x is 10? Because it tells me I'm going to replace my x's with the number 10. So I am going to have So I'm going to get 39, just like we did earlier in the lesson about 2 pages ago. All right? This is just a fancy way of saying things. So, with me having said that, oops, let's talk about maybe I give you this. Oops. G of B is equal to b squared plus 2b minus 5. And I want you to tell me what g of negative 3 is. All right, that means I have to put some parentheses in. And what goes inside the parentheses is going to be what's inside the parentheses here. Right? Remember now, the g of 3 does not get computed. What I'm really saying is what is y when b is negative 3. I'm going to leave this one for y'all to do. So, with that said, write down any questions you have. We're going to work on some of these in class, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Talk to you later. Bring your questions to tutoring or to class.